In 1938, brothers Neil and Carl Fletcher were winding down their vaudeville show at the State Fair of Texas. At the same time, they observed that the fair's cuisine was sadly lacking and decided to change that. After many experiments, the recipe for Fletcher's Corny dogs was born, and the rest, as they say, is history. Today, we are speaking with Amber Fletcher, a third-generation Fletcher and the head of marketing for this very famous Texas brand. Well, welcome, Amber.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much for doing this interview. Well, give us a little history about Fletcher's Corny dogs.
Sure. My grandfather started the business back in 1942 with his brother and my grandfather's wife, Minnie. They were performing at the State Fair in 1938 when they were offered the opportunity. And not really being chefs and more entertainers, they had to brainstorm about what they could offer, which is when they came up with the Corny dog, which was inspired by a similar dish that was baked in the shape of an ear of corn, and it was a sit-down meal. But they put their spin on it and came up with the idea of frying it and on the stick and introduced it at the 1942 State Fair. And here we are this year in our 81st year of business.
That's fabulous. Well, what is so special about the batter?
My grandfather said that it took many years to develop the recipe that we still use today. Here in Texas, there's not a lot of sugar in our cornbread. It's the way that it adheres to the dog, the fluffiness that it gets from frying, and the rest is just, trade secrets.
Yeah, we don't expect you to give us a recipe. Well, so you started your relationship with the State Fair of Texas in the 40s then?
Correct, in 1942.
And what other marketing initiatives do you do throughout the year?
For the last maybe 3 decades, we were predominantly just at the State Fair of Texas. And it wasn't until the last 5 years or so when my brother and I took over more of the reins of the business, did we turn it from a once-a-year operation to now a year-long company or a year-long production. So 12 months a year, you can find Fletchers, whether it's at an event, a festival, catering. We ship nationwide on Goldbelly. And that was one of our goals, was to, in a way that honors the past, but also is the new generation spin on the Corny dog, which is introducing new items, introducing it to the community in new ways. So we've had a lot of fun the last 5 years doing a new thing with it.
The name of your ad agency, it's a local DFW agency, it's Gangway.
Yes, Gangway Advertising is who we've been using since 2019. But I couldn't imagine a better agency that truly cares about the success and the reputation of our brand. And I'm always so grateful for them. So I'm always recommending them to people.
What's in the future?
So in the future, we're just continuing to grow the brand. We just are wanting to just continue expanding our name and brand in Texas. Even outside of Texas, people love Texas brands. But we do a lot in DFW, so we would really love to start doing more, maybe Houston, Austin, growing the brand again in a way that honors our past and the traditions, but is doing it in a new way for all of the millennials and the Gen Zs and so on, so that they can experience what the past generations have had.
The third generation usually blows it. You guys are blowing it out of the park.
I think it's only 4% of third generation businesses that succeed. And hopefully that will be the case moving forward for the next generation and the next, because it is great to have such a legacy brand like Fletcher's.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to explain about this wonderful Texas brand. And thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you so much. I love getting to share the story, and I appreciate your time.